It's year 3 of the head coach Brian DeBall, GM Joe Schoen era for the New York Giants. The first year was great. They won 10 games, went to the postseason. Last year, not so great. The 6-11 team that was near the bottom of the NFL in many statistical categories. I would say the GM and the head coach, DeBall and Schoen, both on the hot seat this season for the New York Giants, and they're not expected to be very good. The betting markets have the Giants line 6.5 wins, juiced to the under. There are even some sixes out there, and that's about as low as NFL totals get. A couple of teams lower, the Panthers lower, the Broncos, but the Giants near the bottom of the NFL when it comes to expected wins in 2024. And of course, the last 5 years, 4 wins, 6 wins, 4 wins, the 10-win outlier season, and then 6 wins again. It's been a bad franchise. All right. So it starts with Danny Dimes at the quarterback position, who they signed the 4-year, $160 million deal before last season. Yeah, he was dead last. The Giants were dead last in big plays on offense last year and only averaged 15.6 points per game. And they're on the hook, again, for plenty of money. Danny Dimes isn't going anywhere. And of course, he had neck issues. He had a torn ACL. He only had 6 starts a year ago, and he may not be ready for the start of camp this year. That's not what I would consider to be a positive quarterback situation. All right, so you have a head coach in the hot seat, a GM in the hot seat, and a bad QB situation. Behind Dimes, Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito. I don't consider either one of those guys to be NFL starting QBs. They can fill in for a game, but if either guy ends up being the starter here for an extended period, the Giants' season is going to look a lot like last year. Offensive line, well, they allowed the second most sacks in NFL history last year, 85. They bring in Carmen Priscello as a new offensive line coach. They have 3 starters back from injury. Left tackle Andrew Thomas, right tackle Evan Neal off his dismal rookie season. They put draft capital into the offensive line. They've brought in John Runyon Jr. as an interior lineman signee as a free agent. They also signed Aaron Stinney and Jermaine Elaminer. So there's offensive line depth. There's offensive line talent. There's a new offensive line coach, and it's been a dismal offensive line for years. So this, for the Giants OL, we're going to say there's hope, but you got to prove it. Show me. Number 1 pick, Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver at LSU. Number 4 pick, Theo Johnson out of Penn State at tight end. They got Darius Slayton, Wendell Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. This is not a loaded receiving core. Obviously, you lose Saquon Barkley in the offseason. Well, guess what? It's not a loaded running back core. From a skill position talent standpoint, quarterback, running backs, receiver, Giants are pretty close to the bottom of the NFL. And you throw in an offensive line that has potential, but certainly nothing proven. And this offense that averaged 15.6 points per game last year, that had the fewest big plays on offense in the NFL last year, we could well see more of the same again in 2024. There's hope. It's not hopeless for the G-Men, but on paper, it's certainly not a great offensive situation. I'll talk about the defense and the schedule in just a minute. First, I do want to let you know about what's going on right now. WagerTalk.com. I have posted my NFL season win report. I've done it every year since 2001. That report over the years has gone 100 wins, 50 losses, 3 pushes, 67% over what the 23-year sample size. The big ticket plays in that season win report: 16 wins, 4 losses, 80% over a significant sample size. And the beauty of it is I write this stuff up like crazy. All these notes that I'm giving you, there was all in the write-up. So not only do you get the picks, you get a ton of info with the picks, info that'll help you win all year long. You can get that report right now. Visit my page, wt.buzz/TC. Just go to wagertalk.com. If you use promo code REPORT20 at checkout, again, REPORT20 at checkout, you take $20 off that season win report right now, just for watching this video. And of course, within that season win package, there are additional discounts if you want to get on board with me for the upcoming NFL campaign. So check it out. Report20 at checkout will get you $20 off that NFL season win report. So let's see. We have a head coach in the hot seat. What happened? His defense coordinator quit. Didn't get fired. Wink Martindale said bye-bye. Thanks. Replaced by Titans DL Shane Bowen. This is a team that had 31 takeaways last year. Tied for number 1 in the NFL in takeaways, and they only won 6 games. Oops. Plus 12 turnover margin last year. That means the offense wasn't even, despite the poor QB play and the injuries to Danny Jones, the offense wasn't turning the ball over. Again, plus 12, that was tied for number 1 in the NFL in turnover margin, positive turnover margin. So the defense created a bunch of turnovers. The DC quit. The offense didn't turn the ball over, and they still only won 6 games last year. What if the turnover situation changed? Now, they did get an impact player on the defensive side of the football. Carolina defensive end Brian Burns, they traded for him. And on the other side of Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau, who hasn't necessarily lived up to expectations, but he's solid. He had 11.5 sacks last year. That's a nice pass rushing duo, and that, in theory, should be able to put some pressure on opposing QBs to make things a little bit easier on their secondary. But make no mistake about it. You want to talk about a secondary that's loaded with question marks? Look at the G-men. Completely rebuilt. All right. They took a safety and a cornerback with their 2nd and 3rd round picks. And again, this team is tied to the league in takeaways last year. All right. When the secondary is rebuilt, even with the pass rush, it's a questionable unit. And the Giants, I'm not going to say their defense was what made them be miserable last year, but I'm not convinced the defense, even with the pass rushers, is anywhere near elite level. Giants look pretty bad, all right? Is it a 8-9 bad or a 5-12 bad? Yes. But I do not project this team to approach or exceed the 500 mark. We look at their schedule, and it's not like the league's completely buried them. They get a Sunday night game. They get a Monday night game. They're on Thanksgiving Day. NFC East teams play AFC North, a tough division, and NFC South, a relatively weak division. Their 3 extra games, I'm going to call it all teams against better than they are. Minnesota, at Seattle, Indy. They are an NFC teams. They get 9 home games versus 8 on the road. The AFC teams are the other way this year. So, it's really not that hard from a scheduling standpoint. You got Philly, Dallas, the 4 AFC North teams. That's 8 tough games. The other 9, I would put them in the winnable category. And given the weakness of that schedule, hard for me to play the Giants under their season win total. Again, this is a 6, 7, 8 type win team, and I expect to see that very clearly throughout the course of the season. They're not a 2-win team, but they're certainly not a team that's going to be likely to be contending for a playoff spot in this division, even with the relatively easy schedule. So, can't play them under season win total because that schedule is too easy. But the over, to me, I'm not getting there with the Giants over the total. They're not a good football team, plain and simple. So if you like these team previews, be sure, click on one of the videos on your screen right now. I'm doing them for all 32 NFL teams. I'm doing them here in July. So you guys have the content early. My season win report is out. Why sit on the info? Everyone's jonesing for football this time of year. I get it. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the follows very much. And of course, comment. Agree? Disagree? Tell me why the Giants are going to be great this year. Tell me why they're going to go 1-16. Whatever you like. But we'll be back throughout the summer months to check the comments and reply. Thanks for taking your time out of your busy day to hang out with me here in July. Well, it might be August when you're watching this, but you know the drill. Thanks for watching. Best of luck. And check out another video right here